So we've got about 20 days, 25 days until Starfield actually comes out. Personally, I have been playing Skyrim on my Twitch stream for years and years and years.
Have you? Who was the #1 Skyrim streamer
I don't care about it.
in the
matter.
UK?
We don't need to.
Who was,
no,
it
was actually worldwide. But you don't
worldwide?
Yeah.
Is that...
Well, it was me, yeah. I've been waiting for this game for, I don't know, 7 years?
Our first wholly original franchise in 25 years.
It's probably the most anticipated game of all time.
There was such a period where there was just no information. And then only quite recently they started leaking things.
One trailer of a landscape, and then 10 years later...
Yeah, basically.
Alex, you quite seem to be the most hardcore Starfield supporter right now.
By Vectera! Is it really, really you?
Are you concerned for its launch?
No, I'm not.
I think you should be.
Bye.
I don't think you really know what the problems
No.
are.
I don't think you know about a Bethesda game if it doesn't launch with bugs.
It seems like there's a wave of pushing games out way before they're ever ready. Fans are just constantly disappointed by the fact that we keep getting games that are just a whole year, 6 months, out of being, able to play.
You can always tell how good a game is by how good the water is. You've got so much more than just water. You've got planets, biomes, and animals, and creatures and whatnot, and then all of the detailed systems and mechanics that make it a living world. It's like, how do you tie that all together without having game-breaking mechanics?
The thing that makes Bethesda games so amazing is the engine which is used to create them. Any open world RPG, every NPC is just an animated mesh that walks around. Whereas in Bethesda games, when you build your character and you have your skills and you have your stats, every single other creature, humanoid, whatever in the game has the same skills, the same stats assigned to it. It establishes a realistic world where everything is a reflection on the same as the player. Other engines don't do that. When you build a game that has not only a quest line, but a quest line that can be started at any narrative point, the capacity for bugs to occur is is so much greater, which is, okay, that might be slightly problematic, but it's also why the game is so beautiful and so involved, because you have an infinite number of possibilities and the freedom to do anything in any order you want. So yeah, maybe there might be bugs.
Do we think like this is the Cyberpunk of the Witcher games? Is this the outlier that like everyone's hyped for, really hyped for? I've been hyped for 10 years and it comes out and it's just an absolute stinker.
They haven't done that much marketing for it, have they? Their marketing has been very low-key, if anything.
Compared to Cyberpunk.
You can fully customize your character using a deep customization system.
They oversold the idea. It's kind of like No Man's Sky. I think it was PlayStation that pushed the studio to go above and beyond and go...
I remember saying they were kind of uncomfortable with it.
If you oversell it and it doesn't deliver, oh boy, you've got a fucking dumpster fire there. Do you think there's a lot of pressure on Bethesda to get this right based on the previous failings of some other games?
No one has smashed the space game yet.
I completely agree. No one has ever been able to make a space sim RPG game. It's never been done. We had games like Freelancer in the past that were fantastic, but you were locked to the confines of your ship. Elite Dangerous is amazing in a lot of ways, but you're locked into your ship. Star Citizen, you can do both, but it's never going to come out. And it's so buggy because they're trying to do both. No Man's Sky, they have achieved both. But it's so limited.
EVE Online, which has completely nailed the whole space sim flying aspect, but no one's ever done a whole ecosystem game.
Let's head out.
People want that Han Solo experience. I have every confidence that the game is going to release in a very fun, very enjoyable, playable state. I don't think 76 is really going to have any bearings on this at all. 76 was a side project where they tried to create a multiplayer game for the first time. They hired and bought another studio to develop the majority of the game from old assets from Fallout 4. Todd Howard's team have gone Fallout 4, Starfield.
People love the idea of going from space to the ground and
Such a
being
cool idea.
seamless. Very cool. They're not doing it, which they have confirmed. However, the thing I'm more worried about is the planetary system and the procedurally generated nature of it. That was the same thing about overselling with No Man's Sky. I am very skeptical about that system because when playing No Man's Sky, there's just nothing to do. Is that system necessary to make the game as good as it could be? Why didn't they just do 5 really fucking great planets?
I don't know if 1,000 is too many. Maybe you don't need that many, but you've also got to remember that some of them you aren't even going to be able to land on. They're just there for mining. They're just there to make up the different systems as well. But it's also, if you look at the way that the games work in Bethesda games currently, is you have instances of caves, dungeons, temples. All that's happened is instead of having all of those instances on a flat map, you've just taken them and just dotted them across the universe.
So you can physically see a planet, but on the planet there's a few travel points. I just wonder how many times you can do that before the pattern becomes very clear.
Okay, so the thing is, there's not always a facility on the planet Giron in this sector. You go to it next time and there might not be anything there.
It seems like such a daunting game to get into. I don't want to be fucking mining some rocks for an hour and a half and then I got to go to bed because I got work the next day.
If you're not interested in a mechanic, you just don't do it. You don't have to do everything to complete the game. If you don't want to mine rocks and craft and build things, you don't do it.
If you don't have the time to play, to like,
I'm gonna get left behind.
To commit, you save somewhere in a cave. Why am I in this cave? Give the ring back to Irileth, and I'm like,
who?
We'd better go make sure that bastard is really dead.
When I was playing Witcher 3, where I'd play for a decent amount of time, take a break, come back and like, what the fuck is going on? Because it's so dense.
The Witcher is still ultimately a linear game. In Bethesda games, whatever narrative arc you want to pursue is entirely up to you. If you log back on, give the ring to Irileth, you just be like, no.
The whole Game Pass thing, I think, is one of the coolest things to come out for gamers, fans, players. I think this is how it all started. Sony were trying to buy up a bunch of IPs. Microsoft were like, if you want those IPs, I'm just going to go and buy all the studios.
Microsoft only coming out a little while ago saying how much in trouble they are because they keep giving all their big titles to Game Pass. Are Bethesda, are Starfield making their money back?
Are they losing the battle on day one purchases, or are they winning the war on long-term fan base acquisition?
You're going to spend 12 quid or $15 to get your Game Pass. You're going to smash Starfield for a month, and then everyone's going to leave.
10 years.
Nah,
dude.
I think it's going to be like a 6-month game. People like fade out. They'll go play Baldur's Gate or anything else.
I'll play it for a month straight, and I'll get like, okay, it's big. I've done everything I need to in the time I have. Are there enough people still to sign up to Game Pass for 1 month to make the $100 million they spent on this for 6, 7, 8 years or
It's
how
a
long?
huge cost to them making this game over that many years.
The games have been watered down over time. The transition from Morrowind, where you could literally kill anyone and it would break the game, it would break a quest line, but that was on you, that was the consequences. Skyrim, there's less choice and there's less sort of narrative divergence. There's less conversational options and there's no like skill checks anymore in conversation. Fallout 4, there's very little dialogue.
Yeah, holding up.
No NPCs.
I mean, for 76, even they went to no NPCs, which is crazy. If it continues to sort of go downwards in terms of being dumbed down as an RPG, then I think you will also hurt your hardcore audience.
I think people genuinely are interested to see how this pans out because it's such a big prospect. It's such a big project that's been in the making.
Some of the stuff in the demos they've released, I've really liked. I found really intriguing, like the base building and the ship building.
Dude, the ship building.
All that stuff sounds really, really cool. If the game comes out and it's everything it says it is, I think this could be like one of the most successful games.
I think it's got to, for me, if it's going to be a game that keeps you coming back, it's all about narrative and gameplay loop. The exploration, the adventure, the narrative that really ties you into like, I cannot put this down because I don't want to miss a single second of it.
Even just something as simple as having a ship that I obviously get to build myself, being in that ship in space, in a really immersive space environment where you can just exist in that there isn't a space sandbox. Do I think it's going to be the most anticipated game of all time? No. I think Cyberpunk was the most anticipated game of all time. But they spent way longer marketing it and they spent way more money marketing it and they stretched it out for a longer period of time, and I think they hit a few more gamers in terms of target audience.
How many people are going to make a penis ship in like their first try? It's going to be pretty hard.
Cyberpunk, you had a penis, you know.
Amen.
Cool.
Amen.